The producer's point of view.
Back in effect, how's that? So this is the producer's point of view. I'm DWi, your host, the most influential producer, a.k.a. the Podfather, a.k.a. the pioneer of podcasting, POP. And I'm here right now. This is episode 16, person number 16 that I'm working with right now. Within I don't even know how many weeks, but I'm really like outdoing myself. I said I wanted to interview 100 people this year, and I think I'm on a good pace right now. I'm about to be like 20 in like 2 weeks, so that's a good average. But anyway, this guy right here, Mr. Otis D. Gore to be exact, used to be an artist back in my early days, back in the early 2000s, 2004, 2003. Like that's the beginning of my radio career, and now he's back, but he's not back as an artist anymore, just an artist, and now he's an author too. So welcome to the producer's point of view, Otis.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you having me, man.
He had a book, and it's called The Audacity of Doubt.
Yes.
Before we get into the book, though, let's talk about you. How you been doing? Let's go back a little bit, where it all began.
Yeah, I again, like you said, I remember you and Jesse. You guys was on Boston Road in the Bronx.
Shout out to Jesse Jess for the plug.
Jesse J. Urban Threshold, absolutely. And it was funny because when he told me that, iHeart Radio, but what Damien was doing, I was like, what? I said, Damon is grinding. Like, he really, really pushed it, and part of the book talks about pushing through your beliefs, right?
Right.
And when I was thinking about it, I said, wow, so this guy, all the way from 2003, 2004, he had a little studio, he was doing his thing, and he grinded and he kept that discipline all the way to now.
Right.
And look where he's at now, down on Wall Street next to the Bull. It's crazy.
Next to the Bull. This is the ultimate. I was on 42nd Street and Broadway before the pandemic, so that was like, oh, we can do this in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And then this is like now, like we at the end of Manhattan. Like,
yeah, you and Jesse and you guys took this to as far it is now. You guys are the epitome of what it needs to be done to grind and to keep on pushing through your limited beliefs.
right.
Because you guys, for you guys to keep on doing it from 2003, 2004, there's a lot of people that fell off the radar.
Right.
As I was saying before, when you look at a lot of podcast setups and everything, you were doing this in 2003. When I went to the studio, I was like, well, it makes you think like, wow, this was already set up. So he was like basically foresight.
Right.
At the time, maybe I don't know if you was aware you were doing it, but you were just.
I was doing what I knew needed to be done because
Exactly.
I was emulating Howard Stern in that setup, but Howard Stern was Howard Stern at that time. There was no in between of that, so I was like the next level of that outside of the radio stations.
Yeah,
so,
man.
and I always, when you guys came through, I always wanted to make sure that I give y'all the best presentation and make you feel like you're doing as an underground artist that you're doing the same thing that the mainstream is doing. We had the same equipment, the same microphones, for whatever we can afford at that time. But moving forward now,
And these are the Shure microphones.
right? Yeah, these are Shure. there's nothing that they have that I don't have, but I can't get. From roadcasters all the way down. Like I learned that early in my career. You never cheat yourself when it comes to investing in your business because
Absolutely.
the people see that. Like you've seen the setup. If I'd have came in there with two little AKGs or whatever was a okay mic, you would be like, whatever. But you see these Shure mics.
You got to level up, Holmes. What's going on?
Right. So you used to come as an artist, you and your brother. You was a manager at the time.
Yep.
So you wore a lot of different hats all the way up. I'm sure you was in corporate America doing some things too. So let's talk about your travels from the beginning.
Yeah. So the past 15 years, I've been a real estate broker, and I had my own teams called the Gore team. And we've been pretty successful. I got my license in
You look like you was pretty successful. You came in here looking like money.
Well, no, don't say that because my cousins down south, when they hear me and they see me on Facebook, they be like, big money grip. I said, no.
They do that with me too.
I said, no.
I get asked of all type of loans and can I do this?
Exactly. I get asked for leather jackets.
Leather jackets is crazy.
But it's weird because, as I sell property, buy and sell property, and then every time I put it on Facebook, what you get, cuz? You get, every time you sell a property, you get 10, 20,000. I'm like, no, it don't work that way. I wish it did, but it didn't, But that's what happens a lot, And but the key is that I've been doing that for the past 15 years. I've been pretty successful at that, and I always found myself mentoring and showing my team and pushing them forward and giving them words of advice, and I've always been in that space. So that prompted me to actually write the book. Because as I went along in my travels and I I started to jot stuff down. You know, before I knew it, I had like 6 to 8 chapters, and now I have 13 chapters. I had a book. You know.
Yo, listen. First of all, I'm a guy that I get intimidated by the size of the book. Pause. So this is like the size that I agree with. Like this is like if I pick this up at Barnes and Nobles or whatever.
Yeah.
At the Lit Bar. You been to Lit Bar yet?
Yeah, actually, I've been over there. I'm trying to get a signing there, but I'm trying to.
Is it political? I'm about to go talk to those girls. What's
Yolanda,
yeah.
It's very nice, very nice.
Sweet.
That's a very
work a deal out.
That's
with
a very extraordinary place. You know, from what she started from in like 2020, and they had to stop it, and now she got.
I was there from the beginning. My studio, I had a studio right around the corner from that. 2008.
They're great. They're great. I mean, I like what she's doing. She's got the guy Gilly coming in on the 10th, and then she's got Eve coming in. You know, she got a lot of celebrities coming in.
No, it's not. It's Wallow.
Well, Wallow. One of the guys from $1 Million.
From the Gilly and Wallow. Yeah, I'll be down there for
with
that.
the game. Yeah.
I think I need to go. All right. Anyway, so the point I was trying to make was that if I go to the store and I pick up this book and I see pictures, colorful, and I see space letters like this, I'm gonna buy the book. Like because that's something I can sit through. And it's not that I can't read and I can't comprehend. Yeah. Is that I got some type of dyslexic that if it's too much words, like I just get tired of reading and I want to do something else. Like it has nothing to do with unless the book is super intriguing, then I'll keep picking it up and reading different parts. But it takes me a long time to get through books, and I really can read. It's
amazing that you said that because my thought process when I was writing the book, I didn't want a thick, long, 300-400 page book. I wanted a quick read. So that's why I got 13 chapters, and each chapter is positioned where if Damon is reading the book, it's like you and I are having a conversation.
Right.
Or if somebody else is reading it, I want it to be between the reader and the person reading it.
Right.
So that's why you got chapters like the first chapter is about time, the second chapter is about begin, the third chapter is about mindset, and then fear, and then growth and value. So it's all synergy. So people, after you finish reading it, it's only about 135 pages. So, but I think it's just enough that is thick enough and just enough that is not too small, where people could pick it up and say, hey, I can read this, and then after that, I can reference the book.
Right.
I say, you know what, I got to get my time together, then you can read the section on time. Or I got to get my mindset right, and you read the section on mindset.
So what's the basis of the book? Like, what got you to say, you know what, I'm going to write a book? What did you go through in your life that you felt that you had enough information to put in a book that you can sell and make some money?
I feel like, for me, I've always come across people that, especially in our community, that always trying to do something with their life. They're trying to push through. They think about it, but they don't take that step. You know, so I call it the audacity of doubt because it's the fear and the doubt that actually stops you from pushing for what you want.
Let's talk about that fear and that doubt. Like, so what did you find in your own travels with fear and doubt that you got past that now you're like, you know what, I can write about this because I understand how this works?
Yeah, actually, when I made a decision to become a full-time entrepreneur in 2010, right? When I was on a cushy job, I was working for corporate America, I was making good money, and I had a net under me, and I realized that I had a safety net, whereas that was not pushing me to really go beyond what I feel like I can go. Because it's like three things I was thinking about. I either was intrigued by something, or either I believed I can do it, or I truly believed I can do it. So if I'm going to be intrigued by something by a lot of people are intrigued by a lot of things, but the intrigue is just that. It's not like you're, that you want to do it. Just, oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. But then you got the belief where you're going to take a couple of steps. You're going to try to believe it, maybe, and then once the adversity comes in, you kind of fall back and say, maybe I don't want to do it. But then you find that thing like you did with this podcasting and the radio. That was something that you truly believe
purpose and a passion
that you wanted to do. So you put your blinders on. You truly believe you could do it. And no matter what happened, somebody might have knocked Damon down or told Damon he could do this. You looked up, you saw the ceiling, you kept going.
The thing about that is nobody ever tried to tell me not to do it.
Yeah.
I had one conversation with my aunt, rest in peace, that when I quit my day job and I was already making money from my home recording studio, she was like, well, how are you going to pay for your bills? I already had figured it out, but she didn't give me enough credit to realize that I already thought that out. I was like 24 years old when we had the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I tell people, you need to ask yourself a few questions. I always ask someone, what did you do today when you woke up? Did you ask yourself a question? And most people just look in the mirror and they don't really ask themselves. So ask yourself 3 questions. Say to yourself, okay, who am I? Where am I going? And who do I want to be? Mm-hmm. Not many people ask those questions. They just kind of settle into whatever their day is or wherever their life is. But most people, as you know, are not living the life that they truly believe that they want to live. They're just settling for whatever can.
And why is that? Why do you think that happens to people? Like,
I think it's because it's very easy to get into something settled. So it's like if you want to say, you know, when you're a kid, that you got so much optimism as a child, and as you're growing up, you want to do this, and this. And then once you fall into, let's say someone falls into being you're working in corporate America, you got a job, your bills are paid, everything is cool. So that kind of enables you to fall back because you're not struggling. There's not enough.
Right, but is that life? Is that fulfilling your
exactly.
purpose?
That's the point.
How do people ever find their purpose if you just throwing money at it?
They have to be able to think to themselves, okay, you know what? Is this something that I'm willing to fight for? Is this something I'm willing to die for? Is this something that's going to wake me up every day and go, you know what? I can't wait to get into my world. There's a saying that says, I'd rather die leaping in fear than to constantly stand on the edge and wonder what could have been.
Right.
Most of us wonder what could have been.
What could have been.
That's
the worst. That's the worst thing.
Yeah.
I hate that with just either relationships or spending money or not. Like the little things in life, I hate that. So I couldn't imagine using my life.
The best things in life are actually free.
Right. Yeah.
That's
a quotable.
But a lot of us allow our past experiences to dictate our future. And I was telling my daughter the other day, I said,
how old is your daughter now? Just
22.
For reference. Okay.
And I got another one that's 28.
Okay.
So I know I don't look good, but
you was working early.
Yeah.
I had my first at 35, so I don't know what year you started at, like 18
Congratulations,
or 19 or something.
My first daughter was born in 95. And my second daughter was born in 2003.
Okay. Salute to him. Your daddy loves you. He's just been working
Absolutely.
really hard.
I love my daughter. They're my angels. And the thing that's crazy is I always tell people, especially in my family, about accountability, about appreciation. And I'll explain to them and say, listen, stop living in the past, because the past don't live in the future unless you live in the future. Correct. Unless you live in the past.
Bars.
When you look back on the past, the one thing that never changes is the past.
It's the past.
It don't change.
That's done.
The only thing you can do about the past is to change your perspective on how you look at it. That's it. That's the only thing you can do with the past, because it already happened. This interview now that we're doing, once it's over, it's the past.
It's the past.
So whatever we got out of it, we got to decide what we're going to do with the information when we leave.
Right.
So anytime if I do, because I'm a speaker as well, so if I speak, anytime I do a speaking gig, I tell them, the people that I'm speaking to, the most important thing about today is not even the fact that you're here. That's important.
Right.
But what's more important is what you're going to do when you leave.
When you leave.
Because we got habits that we have that's keeping us in that space, and I'll be willing to break those habits. I'll be willing to garner new habits to create the future that we really want.
Well, let's do this. So speaking of the future, in the future, we got some music coming up. So let's get into some music on Party 101.9. It's iHeart, you know what I mean? And then we're going to come back with Mr. Otis D. Gore to talk about the Audacity of Doubt. Because now we're going to get into the book, and we're going to get into the meaning of the book, because I got a lot of audacity that I want to know about as well, too. So let's get into that. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
The Big Apple is cranking real throwbacks.
New York City.
The new Party 101.9, New York's #1 for throwbacks. The new Party 101.9. The new Party 101.9. The new Party 101.9, New York's #1 for throwbacks.
All right, we're back in the building. As I told you, this season of Producer Point of View is season 10, and I've had everything from movie directors to artists to cooks, chefs, boxers, professional boxers, and I think this is my first author for the season.
All right.
So this season's action packed. And Producer Point of View is about a product that you're producing. It could be anything, for food, a book, music. It's not about just making beats on a on the MPC. We're gonna get to that later too. I'm gonna have some producers. Maybe me and my man Thadi and Swerve will do a segment where we actually break down the art of making beats. But right now we got my man Otis in the building. So Otis, tell me about this book now, the Audacity of Doubt. So you created this book. What year did you?
Actually, I just put this book out this year. I had a book release at Mingles with my boy Kevin Grimes, Greatness with a Purpose. He says, you know him as Tigger.
Yeah, that's my cat, Tigger.
That's my man. Yeah,
and Mingles, and y'all didn't invite me? Y'all was in the Bronx?
We was at
Tigger,
we worked together.
I'm sending you this video to say what I'm about to say. That you didn't invite me. We gotta have a. So both of y'all do real estate together.
Yeah,
we do
that's
real
the
estate,
connection. And also we used to work together at the cable company.
So y'all got this thing going on. So I need.
He's a great guy. He's got a great book out for his son called My Daddy Loves Me.
So I need to have him on the show.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We're gonna make that happen.
Greatness with a Purpose.
But say, all right. So this is fresh off the press.
Fresh off the press, exactly. So we just like August 15th.
I love the mat on the book too. It feels good. So again, I'm one of those guys. I like things that look good, and then I like things that feel good. You know what I mean? So when I look at the book, it looks like it can get damaged because it looks like it has that what do they call that like matte finish. Yeah. But it's a good looking book. All right. Anyway,
there's actually another version of it that the publisher made and they sent it to me. It's the deluxe version, but the cover is like satin, not satin, but it's like shiny, and I like it, but I kind of like this better.
This one fits. Yeah. This one fits perfect. All right, so you came up with the idea.
Yeah.
So how long did you take you to write the book?
It took me about 2 years because.
Was you writing every day in your notes, or was you like writing in a?
So it's funny you mentioned that. So I like to work out. So when I jog in the morning, there was some days or months that I really didn't have anything to write. Like, you got to get inspired. Like when you're making a beat, you'll be like, oh, what am I gonna do? All of a sudden, oh, I got a beat. You'll wake up. That's why you got the home studio. So when I jog, right, I have this notes in my book in my phone. I call it book notes. If something comes to me, I'll stop and I go. And I have all these notes. So I have to always jot down notes for the book. Next thing I know, I had enough to actually have 13 chapters. And then you edit it and do everything that you need to do. But the Audacity of Doubt is exactly about the emotion of the fear and the doubt that always tends to come into people's heads at the time that they want to do something with themselves. I tell people all the time, they say, oh, I want to do this. I doubt. I said, listen, either you want to do it or you don't. I said, don't take everything easy, because easy is a breeding ground for complacency, and you don't want to be complacent. You don't learn anything from anything getting easy.
Right.
Everything that you learn in your life comes from adversity. It comes from fear. It comes from failure. Everything from those. That's your lesson. Those are your schools.
Right.
Nothing. If someone came to you, they came to Damon and said, Damon, here's $1,000. Just want to give it to you. Oh, thanks, my man. Boom, boom, boom. You had no effort to get that.
Right, and so, I blow it. If I don't work for it, I'm blowing it. Because it's like I didn't even have that anyway. So.
You didn't have it anyway. Exactly. That's why a lot of
I'd invest some of it, but
a lot of lotto winners, they lose their money because they didn't make no effort to get it. They got lucky on some numbers. But when you put your blood, sweat, and tears into something and you bring it to fruition, and it comes from your mind to something tangible, and now it's out there on the market, you're thinking differently, because along that process, there's a lot of things that went into your mind that you learned. So you might say, well, I got this far, I don't want to waste it. It's like working out.
Right.
If you lose 50 pounds, and you don't have to tell anybody that you're working out.
Right.
You just have to start grinding and working out, and when people see you, they'll tell you.
They'll see the results.
They'll say, oh, you lost some weight. Then you'll know that something's happening.
Right.
And then even if you kind of fall back on that, you're like, but I work hard to get down here. I'm going to just fall back and go back to where I was.
Right.
So there's a thought process in everything.
So you was writing so you would jog and jot something down.
Yeah, I would jot it down on my phone so I could save it, because I'll forget it.
So what's the format of, like, for you to do it like that? Don't you have to have, like, so I know you have chapters. Do you have like the beginning, the middle, a tragic turnaround, and then you write for certain parts when it comes to you, or you had to write in order?
Well, yeah. So when I was formatting the book, when I gave my manuscript in to the people that was helping me with the publishing and the editing.
Manuscript sounds serious.
Yeah, I already had it formatted a certain way that I wanted it. I had the foreword, I had the introduction, I had the conclusion, I already had it formatted, so they didn't really have to do much. The only thing that they did or wanted to do was change some of my words. Change. They didn't even want me to use this cover because they said I wasn't famous.
Because you wasn't famous?
That's what they said. They said, you're not famous, so, we want to put,
Wait, so what does you being famous, and how do you get famous?
Their thing is celebrities use their image to sell the product.
Right.
So, for example, if, like, I'm friends with Tracy Morgan. We went to high school together. Like, when he put his book out, he got Tracy Morgan's face. When you go inside Barnes & Noble, you see Tracy, you're like, oh, what's he doing?
Oh, so they're supposed to ghost this and not put you on the front?
Yeah, so I told them I want to have a compelling cover that make people go, who's this? And I've been getting that reaction, because, when these people see the cover, they're like, oh, okay, he look like somebody. I might not be anybody, but I look like somebody.
Everybody's somebody. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's somebody.
But the thing about it for me is that people got to know. It's weird because when I was jogging this morning, right, I know that you're the Matrix. You're a big Matrix guy, right? And it's funny, as I was thinking about it, the Matrix is a movie, and talks about how whenever Neo need to do something, right? Neo, they download it.
Yeah, right.
Yo, Neo need to learn karate. They download it, and next thing you know, he know karate.
Right.
Or Neo need to be this, and they download it, right? It says you can equate that to life. Whatever it is. See, a lot of people are downloading the wrong things in their memory. That's why they're in the space. People are downloading doubt. They're downloading fear. They're downloading
ratchetness, watching
they download
social media and
right.
TikTok.
This is exactly what they're doing. You know, a lot of people, especially in our community, it's unfortunate. But there is a shot. As long as you wake up every day and you breathe and you got all your senses about you, you got a shot. It's a new day.
Right.
You know, it's always a new day. You know, but a lot of people just got to understand the point of the pushing through and the point of the grinding. And if it's something that you truly believe that you want, then nothing gonna stop you. No matter what nobody tell you, because not everyone's gonna be on your bus. Some people are gonna be like, "Oh, Damon, you can't. What you gonna do that?" Yeah, but
I just think it's that many people in the world that I should never worry about those 1 or 2 people that feel that way. Because that should never be even a problem.
If you truly want to do something in your life and you came to me and you said, "Otis, I was thinking about," I say, "Stop right there." Why? Because you ain't do it yet.
Right.
Don't think about it. If it's something you truly believe you want, you're supposed to come to me and say, "Otis, I started doing blah, 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 blah. I'm at this point right now." Okay, good.
That's how we can tell you a motivational speaker, because I got motivated by you saying that just now. And I'm already doing a bunch of stuff. So
I appreciate that.
So tell me, all right, so let's summarize, like, because we don't want to tell what's in the book. We want to just give them an idea. So how would you entice people to go get the book? What is the purpose of picking up this book to do what for you?
So as I always say, I heard this quote one time, and it says that the most potential in the world is in the graveyard. Most people go to the graveyard without reaching their full potential.
Right.
This book helps you think about what it is that I wanted to do in my life, and why haven't I done it? Now I can start doing it.
Right.
I need to push it. So when you read the book, that's why it talks about the time factor. A lot of us, we don't have as much time as people think we do.
Right.
Because you know the 2 most important days in your life is the day you're born and the day you figure out why. Right. But there's a reason why you're not supposed to know when it's supposed to end.
Right.
Because in between that time, you're supposed to
make the most out of it.
You're supposed to make them out. You're supposed to push through. You're supposed to be something. All those millions of, embryos that was in when your mom got pregnant, but you popped out.
Right.
So you're supposed to be here for something. You just got to figure out what that is. There's a lot of wasted mentality, not even something that of a circumstance that they might not can control, but they might have contributed to it in a certain way. So there's this guy, Bill Osberg, he said something one time. He said that your circumstances are born out of a mindset that allows them to exist. And then he said, you have to overcome your current circumstances in order to even qualify for your destiny.
Wow, that's deep.
To even qualify for the destiny that you want, because you are here tangible, there is a destiny that you are supposed to accomplish. Most of us don't figure that out.
Right.
Most of us don't. We just settle for whatever it is. You know what? I know a lot of people that are great singers, like really good singers. I know a lot of people that were great in basketball. I know a lot of people that are smart in tech, but they're not doing that. They're doing something else that they fell into, and they're just cool with it.
Right. That's the part.
It's just odd to me, and I'm like, wait a minute though. You were given a gift for a reason. That your calling. Now, everyone has a lot of tangible gifts that they can do, but you have to figure out a way to make a living with that gift.
Right.
But a lot of us fall into it. Like, I know this guy, he's one of the best singers that I ever heard. Great guy, but yet he's in law enforcement. I'm like, dude, you could have been like, but that's, what it is? It's one thing to be something great at your natural ability, but it's another thing to actually have the knowledge and or the persistence to actually to bring it to fruition.
Make it happen. Right.
A lot of people don't have that. Then you got somebody who might not be that talented, but they got the grit and the grind and the push, which is going to take them to that level. Like Dennis Rodman, he wasn't that great of a basketball player, but
he worked his ass.
But he worked off.
He
found his niche, rebounds, everything,
and he stuck to it.
Yeah.
Now
he's a legend.
He's a legend, right? Exactly. With all the antics, he's still
a legend.
You had to hire him because he's gonna get the job done.
Yeah,
I think he might have changed culture.
Yeah.
In a way of Iverson did it for basketball with the Braves and all that, because you practice. We talking about practice. I'm coming out here giving you 30 and better, and I'm only 6 foot, 160 or whatever. Rodman, the same thing. I'm 6'8", wrestling around with Karl Malone and Shaq and all these guys.
Right.
And then I'm in the nighttime, I'm hanging out with Madonna and wearing makeup and all that. But
that got him more attention, but it still didn't negate the fact that he was a great player. What he did was he said to himself, well, how can I stay in the league? Okay, I'm I can play defense. I can get rebounds. I can scrap on the floor.
And he can score because he's from college. He was a scorer.
Yeah, and he became, exactly what he came. A good analogy on that is, I don't know if you remember, he used to play with the Nets. He came out of Syracuse. Derek
Coleman.
Derek Coleman.
Yeah, DC.
Derek Coleman had the most gifts. I mean, like,
Yeah.
if he would
He
have
could shoot,
really
he could
applied
dribble,
himself,
yeah.
he could have been the best power forward.
Yeah.
He was even a better power forward than Karl Malone,
Right.
coming out of college. But he didn't have the work ethic needed to become great,
Right.
like the legend.
That wasn't on his to do.
When Karl Malone first came in the league, Karl Malone was a heavyset guy. You know, he went to Utah. But then the next few years, he got in immaculate shape. He started calling because he worked on what he needed to do.
Right.
And I love Derek Coleman. I thought he was well. I said, yo, this guy got all the skills in the world, but sometimes mentally it's all you need.
The elevator don't go up to the top. But shout out to DC. He did his thing.
He did his thing. He still had a great career. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So all right, so let's summarize it now. We at that point of the show where we gotta let you be great and go handle all these other businesses that you gotta handle. But let's just talk about where they can pick up the book and your website and any closing remarks that you have for the people.
So the book is available on all platforms. Most people go to the Amazon platform, of course.
What's the one you recommend that you get the most money back from?
Well, I mean,
we ain't selling them everywhere. If everybody
you can go to my website, which
that's what I would prefer.
Right, otisdgoreauthor.com.
Right.
You can get it from there. You can log on to otisdgoreauthor.com. All my information is there, my contact information. You can click on buying the book from there. And actually, this coming Saturday, which is September 7th, I'm going to be a part of the Harlem Book Fair, the 30th Annual Harlem Book Fair.
That's nice.
Right.
Round of applause to that.
There's a lot of people, there's a lot of authors that are going to be there. I mean, authors, the famous authors.
Right.
You know. So
I mean, you're famous too, but you just don't know it yet.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you got to see yourself there.
Yeah,
I get you.
That's it.
And I'll be there Saturday. And
What time is that?
It's between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to be in row 4. I'm going to be row R, booth 4. I have my own tent and everything, so I'll be there signing my book, purchasing the book, being there with all the other authors. I'm trying to get on the stage, man.
Yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen.
I'm trying to get on the stage.
You'll see somebody that you know.
I also have a couple of things coming up on September 19th. I'm also going to be speaking at MS 180, a father's event. I'm going to be speaking there. I'm also going to, I'm going to be in attendance at the 3rd annual Bronx Summit. Don't know if I'm going to be on stage, but I'll be there.
Right.
So there's a couple of things that's happening that in order, in regards to the book and everything. So, but you can get the book at otisdgoreauthor.com. And of course on Amazon as well.
And I'm proud to see a lot of people that I started with at the beginning. We all had ideas and dreams and was at the very beginning of our career. 20 years later, now he's a whole author. He's gonna sign my book, and I'm gonna read this book tonight with my new reading glasses that I can only use in the house.
Exactly.
But thank you for coming to the producer's point of view. I appreciate you, Otis. Shout out to Jesse Jess again for making that happen.
Thank you, Jess. That's my man right there. Man.
He keeps things going, and we're gonna keep things going. So I'm gonna keep this book. After I read the book, I'm gonna have the book up here in the studio, like next to my trophy over there.
I appreciate that, my man. I appreciate that. So thanks for having me, man. It's good seeing you, man. Shout out to you as well, man. You really grinded and look at where you are now. Party 1019, iHeart Radio. It's a blessing, brother.
Next up,
you are the epitome of what this book is about.
The Audacity of Doubt.
Like, you don't let the doubt stop you.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good.
Let's do it.
Just so you know, like, my name is Otis, Otis. So the acronym for my name, I have a patent. Otis, Otis means optimistic thoughts inspire success.
And we're going to close just like that. Appreciate you. Producer's point of view.
The new Party 1019. The new Party 1019. The new Party 1019. New York's #1.
DWi Music.